Excuse me. Silence is bothering me. Welcome to the August 24th meeting of the Board of Raleigh County Commissioners. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, do we have any public comments this morning?
Good morning, Commissioners and with Planning Director. I wanted to introduce our new environmental health technician, Ben Hamill. So here he is.
Hello.
Wanted you to see he is here. It's day 4 for him. Everything's going really well. We're trying not to do too much. What's that?
He's way behind, right?
7 months now.
Yeah.
5.5, but, no.
I'm sure they had the red carpet rolled out and a whole host of entertainment on the first day. Yeah.
They did a wonderful job. I felt very welcome. Had the pleasure of meeting a lot of people working over there and now getting to meet you all. So
Okay. Well, welcome
glad to be
aboard.
here.
Welcome aboard.
Where are you from, Rod? Are you from here and you moved?
I grew up in Newton. I went to school at Kansas State. We'd actually been briefly living in Las Vegas, close to my wife's family for a little bit, but they moved and we were looking to move and I saw this job available and took the opportunity.
And brought the weather back with you.
Yeah, I did.
Well, welcome.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Any other public comments this morning? Oh, Nancy.
Commissioners, I'd like to ask for 2 executive sessions, one during my administrative time at 9:15. The second one at the end of John Ellerman's item at 11:10. So whenever John finishes.
That's a total of 3.
No. Should be 2.
Oh, you didn't have any of them listed. Okay.
No. I can, you want to do it?
No.
Well,
There's a strict 2 executive sessions.
Let's have 4.
Let's go 4.
That
Just
would
those
be a
2.
record, you know.
I can beat it.
Well, the leaves, green flag, right?
Uh-huh.
Challenge.
And we're not gonna let him down it either.
Just those 2.
Okay. Okay, well, I'll go ahead and move that we add an executive session to Clancy Holman's administrative work session time. And then a second one at the end of the last item on the agenda.
A second.
So moved and seconded to add an executive session to at Fancy Holman's time. And at 9:15 and then another one at the end of the meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, so we need to go on to commission comments now. Commissioner McKinley.
Okay, well, Tuesday, attended the Raleigh City Council. They had their R&R and budget hearings and there was no public comment. Then updated them on our budget, the new ambulance station and work on their speed limit request that talking about. Wednesday, we had our monthly update with Schultz Construction on the new ambulance station. The back driveway, they got all the grading and the rock down and weather cooperates next week, we should be putting that concrete. They were just finishing all the sheetrock installation yesterday. Start taping it if it ever dries out in the humid weather. There may take long. And the horizontal siding, which is one of the supply chain things, it's still not due until middle of September. And the completion date they've got right now is about the middle of October. That's all I got.
I think to see some of those updated pictures too.
Commissioner Ford.
Yeah, Monday afternoon, I attended the August meeting of the Raleigh County Law Board at the Manhattan City Hall. Amongst the items of discussion were approval of the consent agenda, which included minutes from the previous meeting, expenditures, population numbers, which continues to be high, monthly crime reports, semi-annual alcohol enforcement report. Items on the general agenda included an update from the Fraternal Order of Police Lodge 17, There was some board member comments. My promotion announcement for now, Captain Mark French will be serving in corrections, and I think that was a good call. I think he'll do well there. We also had several life-saving awards that were presented, as well as certificates of appreciation. Discussion on Kansas Law Enforcement Accreditation Program for law enforcement agencies. Approval of the Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance Grant. That's a long one. Of course, we already approved that in a prior meeting. And just a reminder, the September 18th meeting will be taking place in Keats, 3221 Reservation Drive.
So they're gonna do it at the park.
Mhm.
Well, they're gonna do that with them.
I'm not the IT person there, so I would say they're gonna have to set up something mobile probably.
Have some speakers, also.
Yeah, we're gonna go primitive.
I guess so. Well, now are you gonna have chicken too?
I like that idea. I wasn't picturing that, but we could potentially incorporate something like that. Yeah.
Get the line.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, pop-
I make a motion that you plan that.
Well, maybe. We'll have to. And when is that?
It's on the 18th of September.
And it's in the regular time?
Yeah, it'll be,
Okay.
yeah. Outside of that,
The next heat wave.
yeah, probably. You know, that first K-State game is always going to be 90 degrees. I mean, it's just a given now.
That's a
So-
good thing, is it's 6.
Right.
Yeah.
And maybe the humidity will be down. Maybe that's the good part of that. I don't know. Also Monday, myself, Clancy Holman, and Shirley Woodard from the counselor's office met with State Representative Mike Dotson to discuss a handful of items, including Senate Bill 162, the County Nuisance Abatement Act, LABTR, County Home Rule, and several other related topics on the subject as well. Overall, I thought the conversation dialogue went well. I think there's a lot of ground that we covered, and as we work towards the 2024 legislative session in Topeka, that will be here quicker than you think. Outside of that, the rest of the week has just been working and trying to stay out of this incredible heat that seems to have settled upon us. Interesting thing to note, I don't know if anybody caught this on YouTube, but there was a gentleman down in Wichita who literally made cornbread off the street.
I've heard of eggs, but never.
Yeah.
bread.
He knotted it all up, had it in a cast iron skillet thing and put it down on the ground and it cooked.
Oh, that's better than cooking inside, I guess.
Yeah, I noticed, Dillon's over here on the east side, they repaved the entire parking lot out there. So it's all asphalt and it's relatively new, couple, 2-3 weeks. And it was hot enough on Monday that you could see tire tracks and divots from where people were parked.
Yeah.
That's how hot it is.
Yeah.
Not good. No. Anyway.
Probably not a good time, but not.
Well, they probably didn't know it was going to be 110, 150
Yeah.
degrees either, but
Yeah.
it will eventually cure itself out and it'll be fine. But you can just kind of see where tire marks were and divots from where people were parking. And they are, of course, they've got them all striped out and everything at
Yeah.
the same time. So they may have to come back and maybe touch that up. I don't know. But yeah.
Oh, that's
So that's how you know it's hot. Cornbread on the street. And he aptly named it street cornbread too. I don't know if he's got a copyright on it or not, but he aptly named it that. So if he doesn't, he better get dibs on that because you
I
just
don't
never
think
know.
so. I don't think I'll be cooking food on the street, but.
I didn't actually see him eat it on the video, so there is that. So at any rate, that's all I've got to say.
Okay. Now, let's see, Monday afternoon, spent some time here in the office after our meeting, met briefly with Clancy Holman. Then that afternoon, I spent some time with Carrie Fife, discussing the fairground task force, the time frame. And then also we talked about the Rural Economic Development Advisory Board, and how they're doing, which that's they're having trouble getting people attending. So,
Yeah.
And we also looked at the maps that the city had sent through and what they want to do with the park. Anyway, the rest of the week, I mean, sorry, I've got a sinus. Most of the week, I've been keeping up with watering trees and plants in my yard, staying out of the heat as much as possible. I was doing some exercises while I'm stuck inside. Wednesday morning, I heard from Brian Foster and Brian Keats, and then Team Keats had a meeting with them on the phone. and council and planning department conference room. After that, I worked in my office on today's meeting, answering emails and returning phone calls. That's it for me. Shall I move on to business?
First thing we've got is the resolution establishing certain fees for the solid waste facility.
All good things must come to an end, huh, Evan?
Yeah.
No more good news anymore. It's just all.
Yeah.
And these were all the things we discussed. I think it's
There's a couple on there.
the like tire charges. Those kinds of things.
I guess I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve all those increase the solid waste facility disposal fees as listed.
Second.
So moved and seconded to approve the waste fees as listed. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The other day, I finally ran out of ink in this.
Next, we have an order assigning partition fence responsibility between Hopkins, Marshall, and Trail.
Okay, is this something we need to just, is this, explain this a little bit what we're signing?
Yeah, it's a revised order. You saw a draft that did not include everything that's in there, including the fees that had to be added by statute. Also, I had the wrong description. I got turned around when we were out there. And so the original version you saw, I thought we were facing one direction. We actually are facing another. Normally I can do north, south, east, and west, but this was one of those where once we got into the property, clearly I lost track of which direction we were looking. So the board caught that, made that correction, and this reflects everything else that was in the original order. There isn't any other substantive change.
So this is making the decision on the fence viewing, or is this just?
No, that's it. This is the decision. This is what you do in a fence view.
Besides stare at the fence.
Besides stare at the fence and don't ever ask me which direction we're facing.
Been getting a lot of emails today.
I would say that probably comes with the territory.
It does in a situation where there's a lot of emotion involved on both sides.
To me, this is probably the most equitable way of going about the scenario that, under a statute of limitations and authority.
I mean, it complies with the statute. If there was some question about whether you wanted to divide the cost that way, but you don't have any other cost information. But you could, if you wanted to, you would not be doing anything illegal if you did some of it. I'm not lobbying for a different amount ordinarily. And, there was discussion about whether the fence is overbuilt. I mean, There just isn't anything in the statute that says that. It has minimum standards. But I'm not saying if you did that, if you parceled it out some different way based on something that you could articulate for the record, then you could do that and it would be defensible.
And we didn't get more than one estimate after it was built. They didn't get.
Right. You're not required to. That's not something that's necessary given the circumstances of this particular case. The statute allows if the parties can't agree to build a fence, one of them can, and then submit a claim for the half of the cost or division of the cost. Let's put it that way. And this had the unusual circumstances that the adjoining landowner completed their fence the day before you got out there to view, and that was a scheduled view. Both parties knew when we were going out there. I advised both parties we were going to show up that day to look at that application. And then the second request came in the day before.
It is emotional. I can see both sides of it. So.
Well, the one thing you can't do is not make a decision. If you want it revised, then I will revise it.
So we had the discussion. I mean, wasn't an easy decision, but with what the statute requires, this whole thing to do.
Yeah. It's kind of how I'm tracking too. There's a second one we've got to go out and see, then I guess there's a second one we've got to go out and see. I don't know.
Well, that's what you can decide.
Yeah.
Because you did see the fence.
Yeah.
But the entire discussion that day was on the other one.
Right. To me,
By both parties.
I mean, if you have to come back to the other one, we're going to probably do the same thing. It's just going to be a
divide that up too, maybe.
So it doesn't.
Yeah.
You're not gaining or losing anything here in this scenario.
No, that's fine.
Yeah. I guess with that said, then go ahead and make a motion to approve the order assigning partition fence responsibility.
I'll second.
So moved and seconded to sign the order assigning fence responsibility. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. I will get it filed and send it to the parties. So you'll know there was a request from the adjoining landowner to table this for further discussion. I told her I was not going to ask for it to table, just so you know. If you decide to do, if you told me you wanted to do that, even if you told me that now, it could be done, but I don't see the point.
Well, if she wants that party wants another fence viewing to give you that one up. I mean, we're just gonna have to do that, I guess.
That's for you to decide.
Still a little cooler weather, maybe.
Let's do it in snow next time.
Oh, yeah, that would be really a good idea.
Even it out.
Yeah.
Sure. So the average works.
Minus 0.
Yeah.
Yeah.
40-mile stiff north wind.
Yeah. Perfect. Pull fur coat out for that one. It's pretty wild, that
Next, we have a mobile device reimbursement request form for Ben Hamill, the new environmental health tech.
Go make a motion to approve the mobile device reimbursement form.
Second.
So moved and seconded to approve the mobile device reimbursement form. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Next, we have two employee action forms. One for a Daniel Miller and a Logan Starks. For appraiser, and then also a seasonal labor with under the Public Works Department.
So are you fully staffed now? Yay.
I'm getting kind of late for seasonal.
This was a separate,
Oh, I'm so sorry.
the seasonal was separate.
Okay.
The other one was new prior.
It's good clarification. If they're watching, they could be really shocked.
Yeah. Yeah.
Check
What did I
it.
say?
Yeah, that's right. That's it. It's new hire during this.
It does, okay.
It did non-zero, so I. That makes sense.
Yeah.
It was, yeah, put it wrong.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
We need to approve payroll.
Do I make a motion to approve payroll and accounts payable?
Second.
So moved and seconded to approve payroll and accounts payable. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. More and more signatures on this. Used to be one.
3 sheets. Now it's. I don't know, however many it is, I guess.
There's 3 years worth of AP, so you can blame that on Brittany's people.
Oh, thrown under the bus. Wow.
Been long enough now to accept blame.
The
Oh, not accept.
honeymoon's over, huh? Apparently, we're switching to some new format at work too. It was supposed to be done in June. And if I'm doing my math right, we're already about 90 days behind. It's not Paylocity, it's something else.
It's this room. It's
So room.
Next, we'll need to approve the minutes from August 21st.
Are there any changes? Go ahead and make a motion to approve the minutes as written from the August 21st meeting of the Riley County Commission.
So moved and seconded to approve the minutes from the August 21st meeting. All in favor?
Aye. And on the tentative agenda, I've got two things on the 31st. And make sure to get Director Pete's name correct.
Okay.
It's listed as Pete's currently. Just for clarification. Yeah. And as we've done with all the North County meetings, like to have either David Adams or somebody from EMS available.
Yeah.
Mhm. Both facilities.
Is the mayor going to come?
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
He's listed there as the last item. Not a very long meeting so far.
That's good.
I don't have anything for press conference.
No, me either. It's hard to believe it's almost August.
Yeah, John, the last quarter.
Well, I've seen it drag on now. August. So not fast.
Give me a second, I just looked something that maybe it got me angry.
Oh, boy.
Maybe we could call it today.
I might have to. Sorry.
Hold that. 2 minutes.
See if we can just get out of it. Get back in. Yeah, I'm done.
All the time. Oh, there you go.
Huh.
No, I'm teasing.
Okay. Sorry about that. Next, we're ready for very stuff update. Yep, 9 a.m. 9 o'clock.
Two seconds.
Yeah.
Okay, we're ready to go there.
Chairperson Pilkey, Commissioners McKinley and Ford. Boredom is not a problem for us. We don't know what it is. It's, we are busy, but I think things are going well. We've got a trial going on this week, Trinity's in.
So we've heard.
Yeah, I'm sure you have. And then he's got another one in a couple of weeks. And so this, next 2 months are going to be fairly September and October, busy with those. But I think they're something that we need, those are the kind of cases we need to try, the ones we're trying. So, I'll leave it at that. But we had a resignation, as you're aware, last week. Our administrative assistant went back to school. So we advertised that position. Elizabeth and Michelle, we had 53 applicants in 2.5 days. And so we kind of shut it down. I have read through all the applications. I think if people are going to take the time to fill it out, I should read them. And we started interviews yesterday. We interviewed 4 yesterday, and I think we'll probably do 20 interviews. I'd like to lean more towards interviewing more than less. I think that's something we should, try to do accommodate as much as possible and give people a chance. But so hopefully we'll have somebody hired. The goal is to have somebody hired by mid-September at the latest. So we get somebody started. We will be integrating a new software program, the KC program that we had before. The software program is dying. And I didn't realize those things just, they lack support, they just kind of fade away. And so we will be September and October. We'll also we'll be working through that as well as we convert over to the new Carpel software program that we were going to go with Odyssey, and that wasn't going well. So we went with Carpel, which will save us a lot of money over the years. And frankly, I think the product will meet our needs. So with that, certainly appreciate all the support we feel like that we get from the commission, and makes it, I'm not gonna say it makes it easy to come to work, but it does make it easier. And these are difficult things we have to deal with. A lot of these are domestic violence related that we're going to be doing in the next few months. But when you do have support of the commission behind you, it really does help, and it does make it enjoyable to come to work. So I appreciate that, and want to say thank you. And certainly HR, we want to appreciate what they do to help us get our ads out there and help us get staffed. Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Barry.
Thank you.
Yeah, 2 minutes now. You have to tell me, do these next ones, do I call them up or do you want?
Which one?
Like the rest of the agenda? I just want to make sure I'm doing it right for you.
Yeah, you're doing fine.
Just keep us on track.
Got it.
This is what's coming up next. Yeah. Did anyone else hear Dan Hawkins on King?
Speaker.
Yeah,
So
Dan Hawkins, Speaker of the House.
Kansas.
On King.
they're still pushing that flat tag.
Yeah, we're pushing that, but also, and because we've pushed LAVTR enough that Brandon is very,
Yeah, I'm Vicky Bell.
very in tune with it, and he questioned me on it.
Connor,
And I wanted to, he didn't take calls because I wanted to call him, ask him why he didn't trust me. No, because he said, "Oh, give that out, give that to the county, so just blow it and stuff." They don't
No, they don't even know the statute.
I know.
I mean, it's spelled out
People
specifically.
used to it. They were just spending it on new stuff and stuff.
No.
And so we can't do that. And
They didn't take
And
it away.
Brandon is
They
good about
took it away because they couldn't do their own budget and they didn't have the money to
Yeah,
actually
that's
facilitate it.
I say, I wanted to call in and ask, why don't you trust me?
Sure.
But they were taking calls. He wasn't taking calls.
Oh, of course not.
Of course not.
Yeah, they did a little report. this morning and I didn't listen yesterday, so.
It's on even. So
So I'll
I'll have to go back and check that out.
I know they were talking again about.
Not that
Anything
anything,
with flat tax and the flat tax didn't make sense, but there was a lot of other stuff in there that did make sense.
see, the thing with the flat tax is, yeah, it'll work really good that first year. I mean, it's a sizable reduction, but then that's it.
Well, the thing is that it's not a level playing field. You know, when you get a flat tax, you have to take away exemptions and start everybody's same.
Right there, the exemptions.
Yeah, you gotta start at the same level, everybody flat tax and nothing else. You know?
I don't like the other side of it where it's a one-time rebate because once again, it's just one time and there's not, doesn't balance it out for the future. And that's what everybody's fighting about. This here would provide property tax relief immediate for everybody, which
And it's interesting, he said,
What about next year?
he also said there's no support for it. Like, you went past your house
Yeah.
last year.
somehow it ended up dying in conference committee. Who pulls the strings on
I
that?
think it wasn't in sport, but yeah, it was. But like I said,
83 out of the house, that's a super
Yeah.
majority on that. Yeah.
Yeah,
no, I listened to that going. "Urgh."
what else are they gonna do to us? Did he say anything?
I don't remember. Right? That's part of that graded. To hear that.
Yeah.
I didn't hear the rest of it. Even his write-up on it was pretty good too, but we used to write it, Randy did, he talked, he gave our sides, talked about what Hawkins said, but also quoted me and Dean and Keith the last couple times we've been on this set,
Yeah,
how it can be done. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, that's what came in the dates. You want to.
yeah.
Ripping the skin a little tighter. Make sure I do it. I thought about it. We just got a thing from Mike Taylor about.
Yes,
I was one.
I printed it off. I hadn't had a chance to read it yet.
I was gonna, let's figure out how to do a send a link to it. Taylor, so he can hear what Hawkins comments. were.
Actually, I'm going to send that over to Ken Qualls, KAC.
I'm getting this 13, but in Missouri, I guess the best thing that if you're over 65, they can't raise the taxes on the house.
We're trying to do something similar here too, but
But I mean, that just makes it so instead of us paying it, my kids are paying it. I'm definitely not for me, my taxes on my kids. So it's not. Somebody lives on the Missouri side, stuff like sister-in-law, she's going to be, oh, wow, that's good,
yep.
But no, it's just unequal. Right.
Yeah.
No.
Done.
Thanks.
Yeah. Send it to Ken.
Wait, I mentioned Dan Hawkins, the head of the house, in his house.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
Came in yesterday or before. And we've, both us and it mentioned that it's all right up at Dock County's been talking about LABTR, and I said, he's pretty knowledgeable on the top and questioning on it.
Yeah.
And he said, oh, we can't do that. We did it for a while, but the county's just wasted the money.
It's the narrative.
Yeah. And of course, he wouldn't accept the call. I wanted to call in and say, why don't you trust me? But
Of course, he said that they took it away because we weren't doing right with it, and that's.
They just didn't have the money.
yeah, they just didn't.
They did.
They were crashing.
Their budget.
Their budget was messed.
Yeah, they were crashing financially.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the history of it. People do that. People have lost that. I mean, they've.
Enough time has passed.
Yeah.
That's what I think he just said the link to KC.
I send it, if you want to read it to, or send it
Yeah.
to Tom and Dick.
Yeah.
Pass it over to you here too.
Oh, and also there was very little support there. Like the pasture house last year.
Even if So it went to conference committee and the whole thing kind of disappeared.
There it is, backyard.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Seconds.
It's 9:15.
And do you have anything up front?
No, thank you. Just,
Until full time?
yes, we're going to need 20 minutes, I think.
Okay. Move that the county commission, including Chairwoman Pokey, Vice Chairman Ford and Commissioner McKinley recess into executive session on potential litigation for the purpose of consultation with Clancy Holman, County Counselor, attorney for the commission, which would be deemed privileged in the attorney-client relationship, an exception to the Kansas Open Meetings Act, and the open meeting to resume in the county commission chamber at 9:35 a.m.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to recess into executive session until 9:35 a.m. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Commissioners.
I will go ahead and move that the Board of County Commissioners come out of executive session.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded that the board come out of executive session. All in favor? Aye.
I also move that the record reflect no binding action was taken during the executive session.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded that no binding action was taken during the executive session. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Commissioners. I have nothing else.
That Brittany. Also, budget discussion. Okay, 9:35.
Good morning, Commissioners. Brittany Phillips, Budget and Finance Officer. You can scroll this way down here. Okay, so on Monday, Commissioner McKinley brought up investment income, and the commissioners directed us to go back and rework the numbers to make sure that they were reflected correctly, or if we need to make any adjustments. Shiloh worked very, very hard on these numbers. And we discussed after she worked her magic, and
I'm still a little nervous, but
yeah,
we're gonna.
yeah. But we are offering now $2 million for our investment interest income after recalculating some numbers. So that would bring us down from the mills that were published at 41.312 down to 39.956. We're still exceeding revenue neutral rate, but that brings us much closer. We stand for any questions. Shiloh can answer any further questions if you have more.
No,
Mills dropped 2.25.
yeah, it's under 40. Hasn't been under 40 since I've been here. So, and there's a point and a place for really the way the revenue neutral is set up. It's just not accommodating at this point in time with our current economic conditions. And so, to me, that's within the 40 mills and 2.25. That's pretty significant.
Yeah.
And I kind of get a little bit of your concern there, but I really don't see much moving next year in terms of interest rates.
I still used a pretty conservative interest rate.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
well, you know,
Yeah.
don't hang me by my toes.
I think the thing you also have to recognize in some particular point in time, and it may not be the following year, that'll go in reverse.
Yeah, I
So,
understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Like we did the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And it also depends on cash balances, and that is hard to project.
Yeah.
That is hard to project what we're gonna have month to month next year.
We've got a couple of departments here we're struggling with this year.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right, I can live with that.
Yeah, me too.
And I do apologize for the late notice. It's just I've been in and out of the office the last pretty much for the whole month of July, so going into August. So it's been hard to keep my head up above water. But
This came up during Monday's discussion, so it wasn't like.
well, and Commissioner had come to me before, and I just didn't have a lot of time to really delve into it before I had to go, cruise the Bahamas. It's a rough life.
It's been a hard life.
I didn't know you could be drafted to go on a cruise. Possible?
I do have
Where
a
do we sign
question
up?
though. How does that affect our publication that went in on the RNR for the hearing?
It doesn't, because we publish high, and we are allowed to lower it. Yeah, so it's just the same as Monday when I brought, the fire district. So on, this doesn't really affect anything. We published, we complied with our publication. We are allowed to now lower it. And then on Monday, we will have these updated numbers once you make the motion to have us change this, and then you can approve it finally then.
Okay, sounds good. Can you find any other reductions?
I mean, the only thing that I saw was some of the other budgeted revenue, and Well, it's pretty tight.
So
And
I
we-
did increase sales tax.
Yeah.
But I don't feel real comfortable, you know.
I've just seen that shift over the last couple of months too. I don't want to. I don't want to
No, we
back
don't
us
wanna
into.
squeeze it. No, we
Yeah.
don't want to squeeze, but.
You know, the thing about the R&R too is if we were able to pick up, you have to estimate it or guesstimate whatever, but if we're able to pick up some of the new revenues in the following year that would be coming online, that would actually get us closer. But if you look at it, the revenue neutral rate from this year to last year, that was about a 2 mil drop. It was 40 something last year for the R&R was, and it dropped to 38. So, and so with this, we're kind of balanced basically out from where we were last year, if you want to look at it incrementally by comparison.
Yeah, I like. Glad we were able to find that.
Okay, so what we're saying here is we need to actually make a motion now to go ahead and adopt the change, and then
Changes.
those numbers will be reflected on Monday.
Yeah, so you'll need to advise staff to increase that amount. And then Monday you'll formally adopt it.
Okay.
Now, I make a motion to approve the recommendation of staff and commissioners, increase the investment income for Riley County to 2 million.
I'll second.
So moved and seconded to accept the recommendation of staff to increase the investment to $2 million. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Commissioner.
And thank both of you for quick turnaround and work on that. I know that probably wasn't easy, so.
Yeah.
Up next, we have Shelley Williams with the Community Corrections Director. We will be at 9:50.
Even just like that, huh?
Just like that.
Okay.
I'll be back.
Okay.
Want me to add words to it?
No,
You go ahead to.
That time of the executive session just to read out the.
I know. It's gonna take 5 minutes right here.
You're right, we need to increase the time.
Right into that one. Right straight into it.
There's something you wanted to talk to me about?
Oh, just questions. It can wait. Yeah.
Okay,
No, we've
because
got a
we've got a
break.
little break till.
It was mostly just about, you mentioned you had some conversations about economic development. And I was just kind of interested in some of the details about that conversation. It's broad. It can wait, you know, I don't
Okay.
rather
Okay,
talk more details.
A slow incremental process at this point.
Dawn, what's your drink?
Peach rain.
Great. Very interesting colors.
It's a very interesting taste too.
Does it like the peach drink?
Yeah, it's actually, we tested the theory out too and actually bought a bag of them. So when they originally were making it, they would put an actual peach ring on top of it. But Herbalife, who supports all this,
Right.
these have to be sugar free, and obviously the candy itself is not. So yeah.
is it not, is it good?
Yeah, it's very good. That's nice.
A little bit of the. Yeah, no.
No, it's Little Apple Nutrition. They're up on Fort Riley Boulevard. I guess we all support something local, right?
Catherine does passwords in her personal phone, and so does Greg, so it's hard to tell.
Well, that's just water, ice water.
I think he does Coke or something.
I don't know.
Yeah. Say, I probably.
Yeah, actually, this is blue. I need.
It's too hot to do coffee for me at the
I
moment.
have hot coffee from cold and then like iced coffee.
You too? Oh,
Yeah.
My coffee pot went off in the middle of the night by itself one night.
I can't do iced coffee. I can't do microwave coffee either. That's equally as important.
With splash cream, that's what they call splash. Yeah.
But really, it isn't even coffee. It's just.
I like chai latte. That is.
Whatever that Redina's has, the triple latte spread. I haven't had one in a while. Like I said, this isn't my time of year to drink coffee. It's usually October-ish, and I know all that pumpkin and spice crappy. No.
Yeah, yeah, they can keep their.
About the only thing I do pumpkin is I'll choke a piece of pumpkin pie down around Thanksgiving or something. That's about it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, do that.
Yes.
There, we're gonna have to, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that one might be a little more difficult. I mean, I guess it's the development there, justify these things. Get back to the justification, then that's the part that we, if you sign. And then that's gonna be the key. Even having a name off. Sorry. Check. They brought up stuff.
Some of those things. Yes. Yes.
Morning. I haven't seen much, heard much, anything much. No, it's kind of in September, it's. If you think about it, that's the 6 weeks away from advanced voting. You know. Yeah. I think. 2 years ago. School board, yeah. They're starting to have forums and stuff. I do know that. I've had a couple. So they had the, guess the first presidential debate last night. I didn't watch it. It's too early to be trying to get engaged in that. Switched over yesterday. I think that's heard most of it. Of course, all they highlight was, you know, it's just that's what they're trying to do.
Mr. McKinley, Sean did reach out to me this week for more information,
Oh,
Yeah.
okay,
for additional information, so that's good.
good.
Yeah,
We said he needs people that look into it, and see what's,
yeah,
trying to figure out what happened.
yeah. And I gave him everything that I could that was public
Right,
information.
yeah,
That's such a,
I know, it's
like,
look into it, you don't get so much
right,
information.
yeah, that's got to be super frustrating for him.
Yeah. It's past time. Yeah.
Okay, good morning. Well, I wanted to provide an update for you on how things were going in community corrections, and juvenile intake and assessment has been super busy the past 2 months. In fact, we have had 5 intakes during the week this week. And as you know, an intake consists of either a juvenile offender or a child in need of care. So we've been busy with school getting back in the swing of things. July, we had 22 intake incidences, which is almost one a day, which is pretty high compared to May and June. Of particular notice is that greater than half of them in July were placed out of home at the time of the intake. 8 went to their parent or guardian, 4 were placed with a relative, 3 in one of our protective homes, 4 in emergency shelter, and 1 was placed in detention. So we were, I think we hit a record for on-call call-out hours in July with over 55 hours from our on-call workers just in July alone. So we've been busy. We are going to add 3 to 4 on-call officers to our roster. Right now, the on-call workers are on call essentially once a month and usually at 7 days at a time, which if you get called out even 3 times in a week in the middle of the night, it gets pretty exhausting. And so they all have either day jobs or maybe they're in school. So we're going to add to that. So it kind of stretches out the time in between when they're on call, which will help them with their burnout rate. We have 20 applications waiting on us to review upstairs. So that's exciting for those on-call roster positions. We were able to utilize both the Daniel Keating Foundation and Westview Community Church, both in July and August. And we're just so appreciative of these local partners and really couldn't provide the services that we do at the quality that we do without these partners. The Keating Foundation provides $25 for each child placed out of home for police protective custody, $25 a day per kid. And so we are able to at least give back to those volunteer families that help us out in a time of crisis. They also provide not only the essentials, but especially for our adolescents, a gift card for things that they may need while they're in police protective custody. Westview Community Church provides gender and age specific care bags, and we generated or used a lot of those in July as well. Regarding youth court, we had 10 new juvenile offenders assigned in July, 8 here in Riley County and 2 in Clay County. Juvenile intensive supervision, we have 8 that are on high-risk felony supervision as juveniles, and things are pretty constant in that program. Regarding adult intensive supervision, we were able to utilize the Carolyn Pine Charitable Foundation that we have. So far, we've used roughly $1,300, and we've assisted clients anywhere from birth certificates, IDs, and this all helps them to either get employment or get into some type of educational program. And we've also been able to help them with housing or transportation assistance. Adibus has been a great partner as well in that they deliver, and we purchase monthly bus passes, and they've just been great running those into town for us. And then we utilize them as needed when clients need to get to and from treatment or to and from employment or school. So that's been a great help. Drug court, we did have another graduation yesterday, so we are up to 4 graduations in just over a year and 4 months, and just 1 revocation. So our success rate is staying up there, and we're just super pleased with the outcome of that drug court. We were able, because of the federal grant that we received, to include Saturdays and Sundays for our random drug testing program. It is 8 to 11, and so if their number is called, they have between that window to come and submit to a drug test. We have been able to meet that demand with volunteers, actually, from our day staff, and mainly because it is overtime rates that the grant pays. So that has been nice to be able to meet the needs of both the drug testing and help out staff a little with some extra overtime. We, just on another note, before I get to our outcome reports, we did submit 2 applications for the city alcohol funds. Those were due, I think, August 6th, and we requested the same that we requested last year from both of those grant applications. And we present on Wednesday, September 6th, I believe, to the city alcohol board for those funding sources. Every year at this time, we have to present our annual outcomes. We are behavior outcome based with the Kansas Department of Corrections. And as such, we present to you our year-end report. We were down in our successful completions on adult felony probation. Last year, we had 82.3% success rate. Or just under that, sorry, we had 7.3%, roughly a 79% success rate at the end of last year. And we had 72% of our closed cases successful this year. We are seeing a higher risk population become assigned to our supervision, which really contributes to that success rate. Not just higher risk, but just the amount of whether it be mental illness or substance use also impacts that success rate and the work that we do. Of course, if your success rate is down, your revocation rate is up. And so 28% of our closed cases in FY23 were revoked and remanded to the Secretary of Corrections to serve their underlying prison sentence. That amounted to 21 adult offenders that were revoked. So that is adult services. Regarding juvenile services, we had a 75% success rate on juvenile services and a 96% success rate with youth court. Youth court is first-time offenders, and so that kind of plays out the way that I would anticipate it playing out compared to the 75%. And so those are your high risk, more than likely a felony and multiple offenses with that 75% rate kids. And then the youth court, again, those are the first time offenders. And so really pleased with that 96% success rate that we're seeing there. So that was 66 youth And of course, it's the judicial district, so it encompasses Clay County as well. That is it. The outcome reports, both adult and juvenile, do require your signature, just that I went over them with you, and if you have any questions, I'm certainly able to answer those to my best of my ability. But that has been community corrections in the last month, and things just keep moving along up there. It'd be helpful to go back to those motions. Yeah, that'd be helpful.
The first one we have is the community corrections year-end outcome report approval form for adult services.
I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve the Kansas Department of Corrections fiscal year 23 adult services year-end outcome report.
Second.
So moved and seconded to approve the 2023 adult services year-end outcome report. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Since the second.
There's 2 copies of it. The 2 originals.
I think we get one.
Yeah, 2 originals, sorry. Next one is going to be the community corrections year-end outcome report approval form for juvenile services.
No questions, then I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve the Kansas Department of Corrections fiscal year 23 juvenile services year-end outcome report.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the 2023 juvenile services year-end outcome report. All in favor? Aye.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thanks for
you.
your time. Okay.
Next, we have Vivian with RPIO with an update at 10:05.
Good morning, Commissioners. Vivian Leyva, Public Information Officer, with my monthly staff report. And I decided to try something a little different this month and talk to you about what I'm up to from a 30,000-foot view. To me, sharing ideas and giving you the opportunity to share some feedback and direction, sometimes more valuable than just the day-to-day grind and stats. So if you prefer next month, all the social media stats and stuff, I'd be happy to share those. But I thought if time allows, we can have a little bit of a discussion today too. First, I spoke with Brandon Peoples that came in about In Focus, and we will keep that 60-minute time slot from feedback that I got from a couple of you that we'd like to keep that. That's what we're going to do. And Brandon said anytime you need to do a Zoom meeting or phone call instead of appearing in studio, you're more than welcome to do that. So I think we just notify him ahead of time and send a Zoom link.
Okay.
And then do we need to find for October? Would either of you like to fill in? I know you are out at a conference.
Yeah, I'm going to be at AUSA in Washington, DC, but let me look at the itinerary for Tuesday, because if I can zoom in, I could still probably do that from my location.
It does make that give you a few more possibilities.
Yeah.
So, we can do that for sure. Circle back first to the Flint Hills Regional Leadership Program. The 30th anniversary celebration and announcement of the 22-24 class is taking place this evening at the Flint Hills Discovery Center. And Amanda Webb, Planning Director, is our nominee, our participant for the year. And I'm excited about that. She'll get a chance to get to know the region a little bit more. And then this year, the Manhattan and Riley County presentation will take place December 14th. So the class spends an entire day in Manhattan and Riley County. And their session is going to focus on entrepreneurship and economic development. It'll include a tour of Manhattan Regional Airport, Flint Hills Breadbasket. And this year, for the first time, we're also including a module at the health department. Julie Gibbs and Greta Spencer are going to talk about childcare needs in the region, as well as resources, since that's such an important element to have like a healthy and robust workforce. So I think that's going to be a very welcome addition to the session. And they're going to talk about the community baby shower event. I don't know if you remember that from June. This was the second time they held that. And it's a very successful model that maybe other communities can replicate as well. Going back to civic engagement, this is kind of the space that I wanted to get feedback from you. Recognizing that kind of every day it seems there are more options for people to get information. So from different sources. So the more that we push out, I feel like the more successful we are at reaching the people in our community. And if you want to schedule some time individually to sit down and talk about your ideas, I'd be happy to do that. If you want to make time today to share, we can do that as well. This is kind of part of an exercise I've been doing for myself, and I perhaps should have included it in the packet. I'll give you a copy, Kirsten, too, but okay, thank you. So I took the existing strategic plan goals and then the Vision 2025 goals, which I know are about to change, but kind of in anticipation of that, I thought I'd try to come up with kind of, it's not really a vision or mission statement. It has a lot in common with those things, but a brand narrative to make sure that when I'm representing the county, that I'm doing it with the intention that kind of agrees with all of these points. And on the back, I'm starting at the draft segments. These are just kind of a bunch of inspirational sentences, if you will. And the example at the very bottom on the back page kind of pulls that all together. This is something I would use internally, but I feel like going through the process is good exercise for me. And if you'd like to contribute, that might be kind of a way to make sure that I'm on the same page as you are, and that I'm fulfilling the intentions of just kind of who the county is as an organization and as a place. So again, we can schedule some time to talk about that individually, or we can discuss today. I know I'm kind of a talker, so I eat through my time pretty quickly. What would you like to do? We can move on to other things. So I can give you some time to digest those ideas. We can discuss later. So public safety has been a busy topic this month, especially, it seems like. And I listed out some of the kind of emergency information and safety information we've had to cover includes the heat wave, severe storms, dangers of fentanyl and opioid use, immunization and illness numbers, the canine parvovirus case that closed Fairmont Park Dog Park briefly. So kind of recognizing also that I'm only one person and things happen after hours. And if I ever get to go on a cruise in the Bahamas, somebody would hopefully be able to kind of take up the mantle and make sure messages go out. And Lori Harrison has been doing a good job with Everbridge for years. That's been her primary responsibility. But since I'm here, we've added some other things to our emergency communication toolkit. We have this great Flint Hills Public Information Officers group that includes our CPD and the city of Manhattan and K-State and representatives who have helped out with emergencies in the past, like the 2019 flood. It was all hands on deck and communications personnel from all these organizations and Fort Riley. And we all kind of came together to provide staff support for public awareness and information. So looking to maybe formalize some of the processes and create policies for, if Vivian wins the lotto and doesn't show up to work, what do we do? So I prefer that to Vivian got hit by a bus. Yeah. But planning to work with administrative staff for all those organizations and very closely with Russell Stuckey as well, just to make sure we have backup plans. I was not a Boy Scout, but I know like one is none, like two is one and one is none, right? For Boy Scouts, you have to have backup processes and procedures. So I've been working on that as well from the 30,000 foot view. This is what Vivian's been up to. Also, working on policies for social media. I'm not going to say it's a bane of my existence, but as long as we have staff who are contributing as official representatives of the county to our social media channels, which we do on and off. Some departments have more staff participation than others. But I'd like to formalize that expectation as well. So we have kind of an agreement for somebody to sign if they're official members of the social media team and they understand what content is and is not acceptable as an official representative of the county. So working on those drafts, the first step will be to kind of share the information with HR, and as time allows, Elizabeth will review and then we'll move on and things will review and kind of step by step. I have drafts ready, but I'm sure they will need to be tweaked a little bit. One time I wrote something and Nancy said we didn't have any changes, and I feel like that's the only shot I'm ever gonna get. And I'm still like, I think I put that in my annual review. It was amazing.
I don't know. After watching this morning, we might need to come back and review it.
So that's kind of what we've been up to. The idea of a newsletter keeps bouncing around in my head. I don't know if you guys get the insider from.
Yeah, we already have I guess it's an e-newsletter basically, but
we push out news kind of story by story, and we have a lot of subscribable things, lists on the county website. I'm planning to talk with department heads next week to see if they'd be willing to kind of contribute even just a summary of their staff report or important points that they want an extra push to the public to try and increase civic engagement and awareness. Kind of everything we do hopefully helps with that, but it's a balance between demands on time. So just trying to be as effective as we can with all that. And then the city does the insider newsletter. I don't know if you guys subscribe to it, but now that I'm on the outside, I get a lot of information through that. And I'm thinking, well, maybe that's something we should do as well. Okay. Thank you very much. I hope you stay nice and cool. We're in the National Weather Service said there's a light at the end of the tunnel.
And it's severe weather, apparently.
Probably not. When the storm front moves through, we'll see.
Which is what, Friday night?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Probably Thursday, not today,
No,
maybe
we got one more hot day.
one more.
Yeah. I'm cranky.
And then it gets down to cool weather, 90s.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
It's better than.
High, between Friday and Saturday, highs like 15 or 16 degrees.
Yeah.
It's just amazing.
And I seen a low here at the Labor Day weekend of 56, so you're almost cut that in half.
Really?
Yeah,
Cool.
that's in the morning, that's not,
Yeah.
okay.
Got Bob Isaac next at 10.
Speakers were broken. I was getting any sound.
Oh, really?
It's just so quiet.
Oh. We're thinking. And funny.
Yeah.
This one. Doesn't disappear. Well, good morning, folks. Rick and Jennifer Cox have made application with Riley County Planning and Development. Requesting to replat lot 4 of Terra Heights Edition number 2. And an unplatted vacated portion of the south right of way of Tuttle Cove Road into 2 lots. For the purposes of building an additional house. The subject site is generally located at the southeast corner of the intersection of Tuttle Cove Road and Thompson Road. The subject property was platted as lot 4 of Terra Heights Edition number 2 in September of 1960. Property was later rezoned residential via the county zoning conversion process in 1974. Most recently, on June 26th of this year, the Board of Commissioners of Riley County vacated a portion of the south right of way of Tuttle Cove Road that abutted the north property line of the aforementioned lot. The ownership of the newly vacated right of way reverts back to the property that abuts it. But since the right of way was established prior to the original plat for the purposes of State Highway Bypass K13, the newly vacated portion of the right of way stands as an independent tract, requiring the replat to combine it with the abutting property. There is no request or requirement to rezone the property as part of this action. The property has been zoned residential, as mentioned, since it was zoned A1, single family residential, as part of that zoning conversion process of 1974. There are no variances, conditional uses, or special uses associated with the property. The Riley County Fire District number 1 will continue to serve the site. The nearest county fire station is the Tuttle Creek Fire Station located at 4120 Highway 13. The subject site is located within 5 road miles of the fire station. This is the final plat illustrating the new orientation and location of the lot's boundaries, which includes that portion of right of way that was vacated here. Proposed lot 2 is already served by rural water and connected to Terra Heights Sewer District. Proposed lot 1 is proposed to be connecting to rural water and the Terra Heights Sewer District, as it was determined that there was capacity. Lot 1 abuts and has direct access to Thompson Road, a 2-lane gravel road maintained by the county. And proposed lot 2 abuts and has direct access to Terra Heights Drive, a 2-lane paved road maintained by the county. Few pics of the site. This is the proposed lot 2, if you will. This is the, looking at northwest from the Terra Heights Road cul-de-sac, and this is the home that occupies the current lot or proposed lot 2. Just one more, just to give you a little bit more. A slightly wider angle of the same perspective. It didn't make any sense to try to photograph proposed lot 1 from Thompson Road, as it is heavily wooded, and a picture would not give the board any perspective. And you can kind of see this in the aerial. Here's where the home is on the lot off of the cul-de-sac. This is proposed lot 1. As you can tell, it's going to take quite a bit of clearing and some earthwork to get that buildable. But on August 14th of this year, the Riley County Planning Board approved the final plat, Terra Heights Edition Unit 6, making a finding that the proposed request is consistent with the Riley County Land Development Regulations and the Sanitary Code. Staff recommends that the Board of County Commissioners acknowledge the approved final plat of Terra Heights Edition Unit 6, accepting any easements, rights of way, or licenses as shown to be dedicated on the final plat. That's all I have. It's fairly straightforward. And it's more like black and white. It does meet the subdivision regulations. If you have any questions for me, I'd be glad to field those.
Did you say they're gonna build a new home on there, tear down the old, are they gonna tear down the old one and build another one, or?
I'll do this. I'll go back here.
Yeah, I thought you said.
It's a little above action. Okay. So they're right now, here's the existing house on that lot. And by bringing this in with the rest of the lot, that plats those two pieces together. Then they want to split this lot into two. And so we have a rental here and they want to build their home right here. So it will be an additional home on this particular lot.
And there's enough room there to do
Yes.
another
And
home.
the way that works is it's not held to the sanitary code because both the water and the sewer are going to be central systems. So it really reverts back to the size requirements of the zoning district. And of course, the setbacks and anything like that, make it buildable. But in that zone, I believe that the minimal lot size is 10,000 square feet.
Well, I see we've got these. Sure. The opposition things about short term, but does that have any?
Nope.
This is the one we've had trouble with.
No.
No. There were quite a few people that showed up to the planning board, and they're not necessarily opposing a split of a lot. They're more concerned about the existing house being an Airbnb. And I had to make it clear that the planning board was not there to make a finding whether or not the Airbnb is in good standing or not, a violation, or should be there at all. So I had to make it clear that this is a permitted use in the zoning district, and it's also licensed. If there's anything that they had any concerns with regarding standards of the licensing that were not being met or something else, they could either call the cops if it got to that point, and then report it to us so we can investigate. But I think there really is, their concern was that it just flat out exists there, and the county is allowing Airbnbs in the residential districts. So we had to get that separated so the board can make a finding whether or not this that's subdivision regulations.
This with the division, they're planning on keeping that as a short-term rental, but they're building their own house next door or another.
That's the plan. And someone brought up, well, is there anything to stop them from building another house and turning it into an Airbnb? The only thing to stop them, quite frankly, is not meeting the standards for the license. But yes, you could have two Airbnbs right next to each other. Perfectly okay. They're not used to the outsiders and, coming into the neighborhood. It is a bit of a closed neighborhood. It's not a gated community, but there's one way in. The good news about this one is the access will be off of Thompson Road, and any traffic that would occur at this location would not go through Terre Haute.
I said the questions need to be brought up. Like problems with it, they need to be brought up. So that doesn't affect what we're doing here.
That's correct. Yeah.
Anything else? I'll make a motion to approve resolution 082423, acknowledging the approved final plat of Terra Heights Edition number 6 and accepting easements, right-of-ways, or licenses as shown to be dedicated on the final plat, as it was determined that all of the requirements of the Riley County Land Development Regulations and sanitary codes have been met.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve resolution number 082423. Final plat of Terra Heights edition number 6. With the easements rights of way shown is dedicated on the final plat. All in favor? Aye.
Thank you, folks. We have a Mylar out here for your signature. At your leisure. Thank you.
That's fine.
Okay. Gotcha. So this was more of a Brady should be discussed until you something. Not a second of it. It's also going to be a relief for this coming over here. So today. I believe most of them are, what you can do is ask for them. It's not just, there's so many information I'm just spelling them there, the words and signature, like, oh, so yes, exactly, like, I want the next. Yeah. What's the date on my hand? I'm just like explaining, I'm sorry. Yeah, and if you have questions, I guess it's pretty sure to give you better answers, right?
No, Mondays are anniversary. So today we just discussed, increasing drivers and revenues and subject sheets. Yes, yep, so then the way to all of these are first. I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's maybe a first.
Next, we have John Ellerman with Public Works Department at 10:35.
You ready?
So,
Yeah.
Good morning, Commissioners. John Alderman, Public Works. This morning I bring in front of you a request for permanent easement to the city or for the city to do some upgrades and to the booster station there at Tecumseh Road and Charles Little Road. Part of the upgrades include a generator, and the best place they've found to and put that generator with the electrics, the electronics and stuff inside is on that north side of the building. So in order to do that, they need about a 15-foot strip, which is shown there in the blue, approximately. It's my drawing, so it's not right. The previous sketch from the surveyors are on there in your packet. Just needed to set the generator on and maybe have some access to get to the generator for maintenance. This does not affect the EMS station headquarters. That ends up probably starting in this area and moving to the north. And I think there was some access to trash and a little parking for station house in this area that just concrete for trash access will be the closest to that. So it doesn't affect the EMS station. It really doesn't affect a whole lot to our operation, what we have there.
Why is it so long? Yeah, I mean, why is it confined to where the building is?
Just to clean up the property line. They already own the property from the north side of the building to the curb or that area.
Okay.
And that just cleans up the property to make a nice triangle instead of some oddball cutout shapes in there.
And the parking will remain the same.
Until the EMS station comes in.
Okay.
Then a lot of that parking goes away. The parking is generally students accessing the fee. They hold a lot of classes and stuff in the fee, or even further in campus. This is one of the closest. Could be closest to their classrooms along here. A lot of student parking along Tecumseh and those parking spots there along Charles.
Oh, and there's that apartment building over there too, so. But they have parking.
It should have parking. It doesn't say there's no parking.
most of the houses in line there, property, so it's all still.
Pretty straightforward.
Yeah. Okay. I make a motion to approve a permanent easement to the city, I'm assuming city of Manhattan.
Yes, sir.
Okay. For the Tecumseh Road water booster station.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve a permanent easement in the city of Manhattan for the Tecumseh Road water booster station. All in favor?
All right.
Thank you.
Julie Gibbs with Health Permanent.
It's the last year, but great. Oh, well, that's like. Yourself.
So it's a lot more involved than the last one that I did.
Yeah. You got a lot of stuff going.
Luckily, I'm the one that gets to go back and fix everything, so it'll come out just fine. Yeah. Next slide. Knew I forgot something. It's very. First of all, I didn't hear. No, it just, you know, this. Not even busy the right word. I don't even know, it just. Yeah. Oh my God. It's like it's crazy. I don't know. I don't know. It's continuing. We have this kind of yeah. I really but.
Yeah, it's different. I think people have some. And I don't know if it's not online. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I'm right here.
You can open that, really, no, but I have one here. Yeah. So that's why you have, it's one of the traffic.
Oh, that he hasn't gone yet?
And then-
Okay.
It's
Three.
Got three,
yeah.
Yeah. Before his time?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So we need to make a motion.
That's right.
Yeah, we need to make a motion that we recess as the Board of County Commission and then reconvene as the Board of County Health.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to recess as the Board of County Commission and reconvene as Board of County Health. All in favor?
Good morning, Commissioners. Julie Gibbs with the Health Department. I'm here to request funding for a part-time community health educator through December 24th of 2023, along with programming funds. Before I get too far into this, I think you're all aware, but full disclosure that Asia Sampson, our current part-time community health educator, has accepted a position with another entity. So her last day will be August 31st, which is next Thursday. Therefore, if it's approved today, I plan to invite my counterparts from Potawatomi County and Geary County, along with anyone who wants to be involved from the city of Manhattan, city of Wamego, and city of Junction City to assist me in the search committee for this position. I plan to return to you all within a couple of weeks to share with you the members of that search committee and our final plan moving forward, and this will include a projected timeline. The ask today is to fund a part-time position through the end of the year, along with funds for programming. As you can see, the background here just explains the history, which you're all aware of, Asia's work in the community. So this will continue her work along with chairing the substance use task force, which is newly formed. Programs will include, but may not be limited to, presentations within the schools of the Tri-County region, prevention education and after-school programs, and in parent groups and meetings, delivering the film The First Day, which we already have rights to groups in each county, and collaborating with organizations to review and administer best practices in prevention education. So all of these are included in the opioid settlement funds that are that's outlined for you, that we've provided in your packet. All of these can be done within the prevention education. This individual will also be responsible for chairing the substance use task force and organizing any subcommittees and their efforts. And this task force, which is newly developed, is still growing in membership. We're still looking for membership from certain entities like Via Christi and Kanza. We do have commitment from Potawatomi County and Geary County that we will have representation from their counties on that task force. An important part of the task force is, of course, to share information and data across the counties. The community health educator will also work with our PIOs in the region to develop area-specific campaigns that address the use of substance use and opioids in our area. We'll measure success not only in numbers, such as the amount of people reached with campaigns and social media ads, and numbers of people in the audience at presentations, film viewings, meetings, but also by looking at data available to us on the OD maps, which we're currently using, showing the number of overdoses in our area. We can also use data from RCPD as well as EMS in all three counties. So we can see the number of transports when related to substance use overdose. Our ultimate goal, of course, is to reduce the amount of overdoses, ER visits linked to opioid use, and the number of fatalities in our area. And we can't do this, of course, we're not able to do this without the joint efforts of the task force and someone to lead that task force, as well as lead prevention education in our area. So I have included members of the task force currently. Of course, this is going to grow. We have new members that are willing to be part of this, and we're still seeking new membership from other entities. And then this is a list of everything that I just mentioned, all the deliverables that I just mentioned, what Asia has been doing, along with some other tasks that will help them do, whoever's in this position for these next 4 months. And then we've also provided, Brittany has provided a list of the budget, basically. Most of that is estimated based on what we've seen with the OD2A grant. The salary is the only thing that we're really sure on, salary number. Everything else is estimates based on what we've spent previously with the OD2A grant. Answer any questions that you have on this. Can't get to my phone.
I did have a question on funding, and you're just wanting to hire somebody part-time through the end of the year. Okay, and it shows the salary at $4,800 total annualized.
Yes, I believe so.
So that would just be from.
No, 62.
Yeah, 6,200 with salary and benefits.
And that was for the was it 3 months?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, I basically been calling it this last quarter, ish, but it's 20 hours a week and it was, eight months, but yeah, yeah.
Because this position action form says 48.93.34.
That's just salary. That's just salary. So
Well,
that,
it's a part-time position, so there wouldn't be,
there's 7.65% in benefits, excludes unemployment, Medicare.
It says $4,893.34. That's per month or is for?
No, ma'am, that's for that period of time.
For that period of time.
Yes, yeah, the numbers that Brittany has on there, that's for this entire period of time through December 22nd. That includes salary and programming through December 22nd. Our understanding was that we would do this for this last period of the 2023, asking for funding, and that we would come back before November and have a plan or a proposal for 2024 to you and the other entities. So at this point, we are asking only for 2023.
How feasible is it to hire somebody for
3 months.
3 months and then hire somebody else? That seems like a lot of.
It's definitely it's definitely a question. We would have, obviously, when we started planning that, we thought Asia would be in the position still, and so we were going to continue on. And that is a big change. The last time that we had this position open, we did have several good candidates. However, we did make a couple offers, because it is part-time and it is temporary that, we're not accepted. So I think I believe we can do it, and it will not be challenged. I mean, it can be done. Certainly there's somebody out there that would like to have this position and in that amount of time. But it's not gonna be every applicant.
We do have a good relationship with the Master's Public Health Program with Dr. Allen, and so hopefully, might be the student might need someone in this area.
Yeah, the master, that'd be great. Yeah.
that's actually what I thought too.
But it's a question on the funding page on down there ways. You're talking about, are those, there's talk about coming from the opioid funds. Are these what our actual numbers are?
So we haven't gotten full commitments from everybody yet. This is what we're projecting based on population. So yeah, the amount for 2023 for like City of Manhattan, we know City of Manhattan and Pot County are willing to contribute. Pot County has given us a number that is less than what is projected up on your screen currently. So it's just going to be a matter of continuing, talking with them and saying, hey, are you willing to contribute more than what you said, based on, programming and everything else that we have up there. So
Because this full request wasn't made to them until this week. And so they haven't been able to take it to the commissioners, but we know that if it's on the agenda for Geary, we know that Potawatomi County understands that they have these numbers now. And we also know that Brittany herself has talked to Wamego and to Junction City. So we know City of Manhattan is committed. We're asking for Riley County commitment, and then they have made a conversation with those other entities.
And I tried to go back, I couldn't find Asia's presentation or showing the numbers of how many people, because 75% of the money is for 3 showings of the theater. I would think I don't remember, and that's why I was trying to find the numbers of how many she actually talked to and how many, because there weren't that many that came to those. That's a whole lot of money to a few people. It's my problem. It's my concern. There's, like I say, that's, it's almost 75% of the money is for 4 showings that, what were they getting, 40 or 50 people each time?
That's my recollection.
So that's 200 people, and when she was going out speaking to students and even other, and I know she spoke at other groups, there's a whole lot more effect that.
Yeah, the
And
numbers.
is that an effective use of that money? It's my concern.
Yeah. Can you tell me, does the movie, you said we have the rights to it, so the cost of this, when we had 3 showings, So we have sunken cost in the movie now, so to continue to show it is not going to be the same cost.
Right.
That's
I mean,
correct.
that was just looking at the AMC or renting the AMC for those portions. But yeah, we have rights to the film, so we can show it anywhere.
Right.
So this can be adjusted certainly.
But like I say, but that's what they charge to. I guess we're renting one of the theaters, and then also you're saying 2,500 ads. I assume just for those showings.
Oh, that's not just for those showings, it's all the ads for her programs, but
No.
yes, some of it is that.
Well, even just the rental of that place, that's half of the money. I'm wondering how effective that is, whether you'd have something at the school and
Yes.
you could have something at Manhattan High at Walmego
Yeah.
in the evening and invite parents, because that's the idea, is the parents
Yeah.
come also.
Yes.
There's other places that are gonna have more effect, I think,
Yes.
than that one, because it didn't seem to have that big of a draw, that if you had it actually at the school several times, you're gonna get more bang for your buck, it seems.
Yeah, and that could be, yeah. Sure. We were hoping that each time we had this, that our numbers would grow, and they did a little bit, but not enough. We really needed more. So yeah, we can definitely look at that.
Kind of also did it over the summertime when
Yeah, that's true.
the younger population's not actually engaged in school and, maybe this direct conversation, and once they're back into school, they're taking health classes, they're doing ways to engage a little bit better to maybe pull a larger dynamic into.
Yeah, I would like to see, and we talked about it, I'd like to see Vivian have a little bit more of a hand on helping decide what the best ROI is, like where we're gonna get the best return for what we spend money. She has a lot of ideas and she has put some things together. And she just has the feedback to know, like social, what's more on social media, what's working in our, and this had radio ads and had some local television, but radio ads are expensive, but if we're getting the coverage, it might be okay. But I do think we need to have the in the schools, and that's one of the challenges.
I don't, and I'm supporting it, I don't know,
Yeah.
I'm not questioning supporting it, I'm
Yeah.
just wanting what's the best effect for that money? I'm guessing her speaking to the groups, and like I said, even showing it at schools in the evenings is gonna have more effect than down there.
I should probably get it at the theaters because schools weren't in session.
Right, yeah, because it was.
Yeah, I think it was a draw too of like the theater. You could see like this, like a real movie, and get some popcorn and stuff. But there's other venues that could be pretty good. Sure. Yeah, the churches I think have really great. Like if you have one in particular.
I think you can do a virtual event.
Yeah, and I talked about a virtual
Yeah.
event as well. Yeah. The other thing that Julie and I talked about is getting more structured project plan with the people who commit, so the 3 counties for sure, and if those cities commit, getting a structured plan of exactly how we're gonna deploy the program, because I don't know, I mean, we started it, program didn't exist, we did some things, and now we're able to do that. And then I've reached out to Asia to give our feedback on what she thought worked, what she thought needed to be adjusted before she used us, so.
Now, have we got these commitments from the other counties and cities?
We have a commitment from the city of Manhattan. We have a commitment from Potawatomi County. Erie County will be discussing it at their commission meeting on Monday. And Junction City and Wamego both just got the request, but both had positive response when we spoke to them. Not a commitment, but they've said, oh, okay, that might be something that we able to get on board with. But I think similar to what I'm hearing Commissioner McKinley say, the feedback we've gotten is that they all want to be in the planning, and they all want to be having some direct reporting of how is this being effective, how is it being deployed, for lack of a better word.
I don't know, effective we won't know for a while,
Yeah.
it takes a while.
Yes.
A while
Yeah.
getting the word out to get it, but I'm not convinced that theater showings is getting much for the steep cost. I mean,
And last year, RCPD hosted a couple of events at the high school that were not specific to this, but they brought in speakers for similar other drug related prevention. And they had they did really good promotion of it, but they also had really good turnout. So I don't know if we could do some things, try to get them maybe involved as helping to promote it too. And Director Pete has already met, he's already committed to being involved, so. And I think Barry mentions another, was it sheriff that, the sheriff of Pot County that wanted to be more involved. And so, maybe we now have the spotlight to get some more active.
Getting more.
And what about K-State? Are they part of?
Yeah, they're part of the task force. We have 2 representatives from K-State, Cheryl Bryce and Wendy. I can't think of her last name, but she works, she's the director of the.
Okay, are they going to be part of the funding, the funding, the contribution?
I'm not sure. We haven't asked them about contribution.
Because I've got a couple of theaters over there too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, so maybe some kind funding. Yeah, that's true. That's a creative way to think of it. Yeah.
Yeah, they have a movie theater and then they have the forum hall.
So one of the things I think that came out of this really good discussion is we've got a little bit more of a group oversight on the program, so we're kind of all invested. I think Brittany being able to really track down the numbers and help manage that, it's just confusing coming from a lot of different places. And I think with the other commissioners being involved, maybe we'll get a little bit more activity from those other guys. Yeah. I know it just wants to be a little oversight as well, so I think that'll keep us all involved.
Let's see how this goes as far as somebody part-time for 2 months and then maybe that person can transition over with that.
And I guess I will mention that Asia did offer to continue in a part-time position, which we may want to do an interim. The issue is the challenges with even evenings only. So maybe that, I don't know, it's not our ideal by any means, but it would get to some of those meetings like we're discussing about to invite the parents and things like that. We can maybe just discuss some interim, like keep her help her out, select somebody else and train. We need a person in the position, and we also need to know that it's going to last more than 3 months to get someone effective.
Unless you're looking at grants to try to continue to talk.
Yes.
You said you're planning to try to get for next year's.
We hope to hear back in September from these 2 of them.
But this temporary fix.
It is, but if I understand right, the opioid state funding doesn't necessarily have a specific end date.
Not that I'm aware of, but I'm still newer, so I'm still trying to figure out the opioid funding completely. But as far as I'm aware, I do not know of an end date for the opioid funding at this time.
So depending how all of the entities decide to use it, if this is an effective way, it could continue to be used for that
Exactly.
in 24.
And then that's what I'm saying, are those numbers what our opioid number is going to be, or is that just?
Oh, no, that's not your opioid funding. That's literally just our projected project costs.
The opioid's more than that.
Yes.
Yeah, we have $118,000 right now in opioid funding at this point in time.
And
But
each one
that's
of-
not this year, that's so much a year, or?
So I don't know how much we've received last year, but I don't have those numbers in front of me. I'm sorry. I can give those back to you.
It seems like it comes like every quarter or something like that, because
I know it comes.
we're always having to sign off on a resolution for it. Still don't think the state really has set the parameters on it. They just know, we got all this money coming in, it's gotta go out.
And Brittany she has the paperwork on it, it has everything, it's significant. Yeah, it has a lot of details. We are sure we're compliant with this program, but we don't believe that there's a deadline for that money to be spent, so.
I think it's coming from 3 different settlements too, correct?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I thought had we corrections, community corrections, getting some of that fund,
We discussed it.
I don't know if we we discussed some of their programs too. I still want to promise it twice.
Yeah, and that's why we don't want to talk to you necessarily yet about a 2024 plan, because we want to try to regroup and make sure that we're on the same page, not only ourselves, but with these others. We just really focused on this last portion of 23.
And we're in the works of, I know you mentioned community corrections and having them, apply for the money. Basically, we are in the process right now of creating a more formal application for entities to apply for the money.
Oh,
So we can better
I
track
know
that.
this is a pretty new thing
Yeah.
that just been settled this year, I think.
Some came
last year.
too.
We got some last year.
Yeah, I think it was about this time last year, it started.
Okay, I know it's a new. Relatively new
Yeah.
thing, but we want to put it to effective use.
Yeah, and it's difficult with anything drug related. It's difficult to know what's going to be effective, but we can try some things and measure. The only other thing I'm not sure if we were clear on is that kind of what we talked about. Rich and Brittany created this budget, and like I said, everyone else just recently saw it. So this is our ask for them. If one or two comes back and says no, we'll either participate at this level or we won't participate at all. We'll have to readjust and come back. I know the city said they were very committed.
Yeah.
So maybe we readjust and see how that works out, but this is what we're hoping to move forward with. And we'll have to come back to you if anybody kind of changes their participation. Yeah.
Okay. We'll make a motion to approve funding for a part-time community health educator from September 23 through December 23.
Second.
So moved and seconded to approve funding for part-time community health educator from September 2023 through December 2023. All in favor?
All right.
Thank you. Thank you, commissioners.
We'll be back soon with updates. Yeah. Dynamic, yeah.
In the meantime, I'm going to make a motion that we recess as the Board of County Health and reconvene as the Board of County Commission.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to recess as the Board of County Health and reconvene as the Board of County Commissioners. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Hey, good morning again, Commissioners. John Ellerman, Public Works. Then I have with you, or in front of you now, is a resolution restricting or eliminating left turn movements off of Walters Drive onto Tuttle Creek Boulevard. At certain peak hours of the day. The city, a few years ago, when they were working on Eisenhower, realized there's been some traffic issues and some congestion difficulties turning off of Walters onto Tuttle Creek Boulevard, making those left turns going south. And part of that discovery, they did their traffic study and all that and realized that it was a problem. 23 crashes in the 5 years time. 17 of them were from the left turns. That Kirkwood Drive, the bridge, the new bridge there across the drainage was to help relieve some of that. And then their intention was to have school traffic, left turn traffic onto Tuttle Creek to go across the bridge of Marlatt and use the light to make that left turn. They have since put up a signage to restrict that, but are having difficulties getting it enforced with the intersection being in the county and not in the city. The sign was erected in the city, within the city limits, but the intersection that the events happen is in the county. So they've asked me to come to you, and I don't disagree with the ask, especially with the accent count and those at that time. And now I present that resolution, and here it's got a fresh new copy that Craig helped me make some changes here at the last minute that I forgot to do. when I put it in the packet. So it says to restrict left turn traffic between 7 and 9 a.m. and 3 to 6 p.m. off Walters Drive to Tell Creek Boulevard.
Since,
Yeah.
I guess I did have a picture of the intersection. I didn't include some of the stuff they use in their internal. You know, with the red line city limits outside that and where the accidents and the actions take place is outside. So
and they've already put the sign up, we're just approving. And I mean, we're not putting even in.
we're not
Sign's already
yeah,
there.
they left the sign up, and they'll keep it up and maintain the sign. And they just needed our approval for that,
For the enforcement.
for the enforcement to have.
This is gonna be forever, right?
And
Forever.
yeah, until something happens at the intersection, at some point to make the left turn not happen. I think that's where some thoughts here.
Roundabout.
Some about are just.
Maybe a light, a flashing red light. It's
Well, it doesn't restrict the turn. It's easy to go up, going over to Mark.
It really is.
It's so easy. I've been to kids' fence there, and I know that's the way we get out.
okay. Have any other questions?
I don't. Go ahead then and make a motion to approve the resolution to eliminate left hand turning movements from Walters Drive to Tuttle Creek Boulevard between the hours of 7 to 9 a.m. and 3 to 6 p.m.
A second.
As I moved and seconded to approve the elimination of left-hand turns, from Walters Drive to Tuttle Creek Boulevard between the hours of 7 a.m. 9 a.m. and 3 to 6 p.m. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, so
I think it's on my school. Let's see more. Put that in there.
well, if I get it on my computer, I'll do that.
I changed pins the day came. So I'll have a little private ceremony in my office. Post
You can't
meeting.
get a refill.
No. Okay, so
Sorry.
executive session time again.
It's,
Okay. This is a long one.
isn't it though?
I move the Board of County Commissioners, including Chairwoman Foki, Vice Chairman Ford, and Commissioner McKinley, along with Clancy Holman, County Councilor, Craig Cox, Deputy County Councilor, attorneys for the commission, along with Anna Burson, Riley County Appraiser, Amanda Webb, Planning and Development Director, and Brian Foster of BG Consultants, recess into executive session pursuant to the preliminary discussions relating to the acquisition of real property exception to the Kansas Open Meetings Act. That's a very long sentence.
It is.
The open meeting to resume in the county commission chamber at
You're gonna need 45 minutes. And also I would ask that you add and make a friendly amendment to include Deputy County Counselor Shelley Woodard as well. I left her off the notice.
Okay.
She doesn't get to go away.
You don't have to read the whole thing.
No, that's why I'm saying it's a friendly amendment, so to his motion.
And we'll also add Deputy County Counselor Shelley Woodard.
Thank you.
What was the time?
So that's what I'm trying to figure out.
I'm sorry.
45 minutes.
45 minutes.
12:05.
Yep.
12:05. Okay. The open meeting to resume in the county commission chamber at 12:05 p.m.
I'll second.
Reluctantly.
Yeah.
It's been moved and seconded to recess into executive session from until 12:15. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. No way I could repeat it.
What I could.
Okay. I'd move the Board of County Commissioners come out of executive session.
Second.
It's been seconded for the board to come out of executive session. All in favor?
I
Aye.
also move that the record reflect action shall be taken consistent with the consensus reached in executive session.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded, that consensus was reached in executive session. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, commissioners. Nothing further from me.
That's good news.
Okay. They respect that.
Have anything else on the agenda?
Okay.
I have one quick thing here. Not a big deal. Guys need to get with Lori Bishop, the Flint Hills Volunteer Center, if you're going to attend the September 11th event on Sunday. the 10th.
Oh.
She's trying to make finalized plans. So she reached out to me and said she hadn't heard from anyone. Yeah. Got it here.
Yeah, I've got laid on my desk, and September's creeping up too fast.
Yeah, agreed. She's trying to get everything set up and knows that
Okay, yeah.
can't necessarily sit together and all that. So, yeah. Okay.
Okay,
And that's all I got. Yeah, I know.
let's have anything else.
Okay. Now I'll go ahead and make a motion that we adjourn the August 24th meeting of the Riley County Commission.
Second.
It's been moved and